done. October 18th, 10 a.m. And it's Edgeworth. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. precisely on October the 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well, I call the most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the courts. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map there. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studios, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through with their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. Security lady that works here at the studios was here at 1 p.m. that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there was only 3 people here, see? The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area till noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead later that day, 5 p.m., production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, rehearsal was cancelled. Time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? Let's skip it. I think I can probably remember that. So, the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask but one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call this security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please! Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. It is kind of a running joke. Like, for all his competence, like, the one thing he can't get them to do is just introduce themselves. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Just call me Grandma. When I was young, I was a little bit, not really knows what my name is. So now you're trying to make fun of me just because of my name. Can you believe it? There was this boy that came to the chess club at junior high, and when he called me an old bag, well, I just cried and cried because I had a crush on him, you see. Objection, I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. Well, I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then till 5. Now the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there. He was heading toward the studio. You saw the defendants? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Up until that time, anyone who wanted to, could go into the studio. Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. The main gate was locked, dearie. You'd need an employee card key to get in. Right, card key that I have. So what you're saying is no one who wasn't supposed to be there could get in. Was there anyone at the studios when you arrived at the guard station? A run-through? They were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon and were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there afternoon? What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers, observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. If you quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor Hammer? Nope. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the station. Tell us what happened next. Watching there the whole time, no breaks, not even a second. Of course, I am a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Snipper whapper. Snipper whapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? How did you know that? Oh, I have my ways. That overdressed young detective told me. I fed him some donuts, he talked and talked. If you ask me, that detective isn't cut out for his job. Oh no! He's like... Boy, the gumshoe getting ratted out by a security guard. 2 o'clock, you're sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was the man? Really, you should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies all in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. It was Powers. So you saw Mr. Powers. That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, sonny? Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. Objection! Let me get this straight, old bag, Ms. Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this, exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Old Tokyo. Ms. Oldbag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course, didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't! Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Ms. Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Ha, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Oh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. We didn't even give it a second look. I love Edgeworth. Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his legs. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her till she squeals. Like the old pig that she is. Whippersnapper? Hey, I haven't said anything. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. The up and up. Oh my, Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Poor old Hammer, the magistrate. And me. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such. You didn't see the run-through then. Trip and fall? Yes. And to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurts. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know that Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke a prop? Sure did, his own spear. His spear, the murder weapon? Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. Better write this down in the court record. Breaking the shaft of the mended with duct tape. Was his ankle badly sprained? Not so bad he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. What's the nap? Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is... where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai. Yes. And it is clear the person in the suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So, if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was... Oh wait, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. How do you know that? Eh? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. Then, after some rubbish about it being a secret pal, he told me everything. I see Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. Are you sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody's suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody's suspicious looking, right. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before 1? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention... Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Windbag sure has balls, or... Well, you know what I mean. Windbags have a way of skipping over important details, after all. For that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Is it this one? It is. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. Look at this graph. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Ooh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th, really, Sonny. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says, photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1? If it really was the only photo? Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Like, I imagine, like, when he's on, like, a high, like, Phoenix starts getting, like, real, like, snarmy and, like, super cocky. Like, look at his face. Look what he's doing. Like, he's so, like, he's so cocky when he's in these moments, these revelation moments. Yet there's only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, like the security lady herself. Yeah? You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help. No, believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper. Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day. Ms. Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please cross-examine. I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Another job? That's right, I check all the people that pass by the main gate that day. I look closely at every one of the photos that camera takes. You back up all security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out... Oh, wait. What am I keep reading it. Well, who in the heck was in the photo? Huh, a fanboy. A fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. You get information about the rehearsal from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your exact words. Well, you must know there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. Leads outside and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. Kids? So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai, dragging his leg. The other was a boy, who looked to be about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. Boy in 2nd or 3rd grade, I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Oh, Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and prosecution to consider the new information, and no forgetting vital information this time. Mr. Powers? Yeah? Tell me straight, are you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio, gosh. I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room.
Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal the steel samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? Doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick, what are we going to do? First, we play for more time. Start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done it. We'll start accusing someone else. The Phoenix Wright strategy. My client's not guilty, you're guilty. They'll take them solid shoes, now we can get another day. Right, if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. Don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there's still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order! Interesting. Let's hear who you have in mind, however. Beware, this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. Who is this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? Oh no, it's either the girl or the lady. I'm gonna say it's the security girl. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. This was a 50-50 coin toss. It's like, oh, it's one of these two. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper? Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Ms. Oldbag to you. Ms. Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gates. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal a costume. Then slip into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces and, shoots all my hopes and dreams down? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection, some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on the matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something. Now move, maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. Press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions that day. Why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag's one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased. He's only a grade schooler though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. I was that age I could pin my old man in 10 second stops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it nice to be nice to the kids and mean to your elders day, whippersnapper? I have proof. Proof? Indeed. Let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder. It's either the card key? I think it's the card key.
Take that!
See, the murder as well knows it was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? Meh. The windbag. Speechless. Oh, it's got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. And the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Ms. Oldbag, what is this about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. Oh, it's this music. We got her on the ropes. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet. There were other people at the studios the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? They told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. If you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Ms. Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why'd you keep this from the court till now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap. I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, a cross-examination. So, you were told not to talk. That's right, by the studio and TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. Who are these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime. They had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There's a Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Shouldn't they have taken, like, a picture of them? Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I've already asked all my questions, but let's continue. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? Ms. Oldback, this is a trial for murder. I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and you still talked. I've asked all the questions I have to ask. Let's get as much info as we can. This is all the same? I think it's the same. they were actually in the studio? Yes, the whole day. I heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came. Grumble. I'll kill this woman, I swear it! Feel sorry for Edgeworth? Almost. We left him hanging on this one. Yeah. Who are these people? Let's take a break. We've learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Ms. Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. The way the screen shakes, like you could feel his fury. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings of the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Aw, really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I? I'm going down to the studios to do some more investigating. I want to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in the steel samurai costume? Could this really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was buying time, okay? I had to falsely accuse someone to buy more time, okay? Someone had to be the bad guy just for a bit to take the pressure off. Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right, we'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks. Thanks, guys.